The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A Democratic Republic of Sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And we are in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and our draft prep coverage continues here in the Sportsocracy. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. We continue with team needs of the Arizona Cardinals.
Wide receiver. I only have 9.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, there are actually services that say they need a wide receiver, which is comical to me.
No. Yeah, I think they're good at wide receiver. Even if Larry Fitzgerald decides not to come back for this season, I think they're good there. I think defensive help. Yeah, this is a team that I don't feel has a whole lot of glaring issues.
They don't. With the addition of J.J. Watt, I feel like they've done quite nicely. You know, I look at this team. You've got J.J. Watt on the other side of Chandler Jones, which is going to help any deficiencies you have in the back four. I like this team a lot. A.J. Greene, it's a low-risk, high-potential reward scenario on the opposite side from DeAndre Hopkins. For one of the first times in his career, he has a legitimate receiver that can take pressure off of him. I think he could be much better than a lot. I know people say he's old and hurt, and okay, he's the 4th option in this offense. Mm-hmm. He could play 25 snaps a game and be just fine.
So, do you think they go after an edge rusher first? Would you go with a cornerback?
I'm starting with a corner. Okay. Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. This is a guy, to me, if you told me a player if you told me one of the corners in this draft was going to end up being Patrick Peterson-esque, I would say it's Caleb Farley. I think he's very scheme fluid. I think he can do a lot of things. The biggest knock on him is the medical. And everything I've heard is that's nothing to worry about. It's been much ado about nothing. And I think that will be the pick for the Cardinals at 16.
All right, go to the defensive line. Get a nose tackle.
There are not many in this. There's not many in this draft, and this is my favorite one. Daryl Slayton is a house. He is a gigantic human being. And I think he can be a nose tackle in the NFL. And I think he can be a quality one. You put him in between J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones on the other side, I think he can do some things. I think he can do them early. I think he kind of got washed out at Florida because the defense was, yes, talented, but not very good. Dan Mullen asked a lot of a guy that's that big because he played a lot of snaps, and he is have I said he was big yet?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, just making sure we understood that he is a great big damn human.
All right, you want to add some beef to that offensive line as well. Trey Smith out of Tennessee.
I do. This is a guy I like a lot. This would be a replacement probably for Brian Winters, another Jet cast-off. Anytime you have a former Jet that we looked at and went, we're good. Brian Winters is also one of my all-time most hated Jets because he picked up a shitload of penalties. Mm-hmm. I like Trey Smith a lot. This is a guy that was super touted coming out of high school. I think he was a victim of Tennessee just wasn't very good. He had some medical issues. This is a boom-bust pick for me. This would be, what pick is that? 49 for them in the second round of the draft with Trey Smith. This is a guy that could end up being an all-pro. He could end up being out of the league in 3 years. But at guard, there's just not that many impact guys. Trey Smith could be an impact guy. He's a guy we could look at 5 years from now and say he was one of the 20 best players in this draft.
Going to interior offensive line makes sense. I've seen a lot of people trying to put Christian Darrisaw here with them in the first round of the draft. Do you think that fits, or do they really even need a tackle? Do you like Kelvin Beachum?
Kelvin Beachum's fine on the right side. They paid DJ Humphries, so I mean,
they're stuck with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I mean, if you want to improve it, more power to you. Mm-hmm. But I think Kelvin Beachum is a vet presence, been reasonably healthy. I think you can get by just fine with him as your right tackle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Running back? Really? You got Chase Edmonds. They just got James Conner. You're the one that's been screaming, free Chase Edmonds. You want to give him another running back?
Yeah, because I don't think James Conner's worth a shit. I don't understand why you paid him. He was god-awful in Pittsburgh. I don't see a lot of burst there. I mean, he looks like a guy that's got a lot of tread, run off the tires. I don't get it. And Chuba Hubbard is going to be very scheme dependent. He needs to run in a spready type offense. I mean, you say, oh, you're trying to give him a running back. Yeah, this is picking the 200. So I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard's a guy that's going to go markedly lower than you think because he can't pass protect to save his life. I don't know that he's going to be able to run between the tackles in the NFL. I know he's talented. I know there's a spot for him in the league. I think he's going to end up falling to one of these very spready teams, be it the Rams, the Cardinals, because that's about the only place I can see him fitting. He's just not there's just not a lot there. He was a very good college running back. I don't think he's going to be a great pro, but he could be a piece of a committee moving forward.
Tight end. They could use a tight end.
They could. Unfortunately for them, the run happens in front of them because they don't pick at 49, Pat Freiermuth and Hunter Long are already gone. I think if those guys were there, they would be players they would consider. I have them taking Tony Poljan. He's a gigantic tight end from Virginia. He's a very good blocker. This is one of the worst tight end drafts you'll ever see. I don't feel like Trey McKitty's going to fall this far. Somebody's going to overdraft him. I could see them taking a tackle that can block because they don't really currently have one of those. And I understand it's a spread offense. And Max Williams. Yeah, Max Williams can't block. You may think he can. He can't. It's a myth. It's like Sasquatch. It's a myth. It doesn't really happen.
Old Sasquatch.
And I'll be honest with you, it's such a position of need that I think they could try to shoehorn a player in here. Tony Poljan is basically an extended sixth lineman. And I think there could be some merit to that. They struggled at times to get the 2 and 3 yard gains because they stretch teams out so much. I could see, and I'm not saying they're going to change that in any way. I could just see them with a tight end like this that falls to them in the 240s. I mean, this is one of the last 10 picks in the draft. So, take it for what it's worth. But they need a tight end. Tony Poljan is a tight end. Analysis over.
Well, the Big Gingers 2020 preseason NFC Team of the Year was 8-8 last year. You think they can make a market jump this year?
Yes. Best team in the NFC, part 2. The second wave.
All right, with only 6 picks in the NFL draft and 2 of them coming in the 240s.
2 of them are in the last 15 picks of the draft. 3 of them are in the 220 pluses.
Right.
So not going to be a real busy time for the Cardinals. And it's not a team with a lot of needs, like you said. I think they're very good. They can take some chances. They can take some risks. Caleb Farley and Trey Smith with Tadarius Slayton that's an A+ from me.
Yeah, they can already put a scare into everybody in their division, and not only in their division, but in the NFC as a whole. If they can hit some home runs in this draft, they're going to be a real scary team next year. You'll hear every pick of the Arizona Cardinals right here in the Sportsocracy. We'll be live in the Wicked Weed studio for all 3 days of the NFL draft. I'm Tank Spencer, and he's Jeremy Greene, and we'll see you next time.